The Pi network has found itself in the eye of a storm this week as debates around its decentralization promise reignited across the community. Despite its steady growth in user base and rising activity on the market, growing concerns are casting doubt on the platform's ability, or even willingness, to fulfill its founding goal of true decentralization. The latest wave of scrutiny began when a provocative message was shared by a user identified as a Pi network member. Their post, which quickly gained traction, argued that Pi network was never built with genuine decentralization in mind. According to the user, the structure of the project, from its node architecture to back-end operations, has been deliberately designed to keep power consolidated within the hands of the Pi core team. Their claims didn't stop there. They even alleged that the decision to base Pi's blockchain on the Stellar protocol was driven not by technical compatibility or scalability, but rather by its alignment with centralized control. This post sent shockwaves through the Pi community. It opened up deeper conversations that have long been simmering beneath the surface. While some users defended the project, pointing to its consistent development and the complexity of launching a global digital currency, others felt validated in their long-standing doubts. The sentiment seemed to hover between cautious optimism and brewing disillusionment. In response to the growing unrest, the Times of Pi Network, a community-affiliated platform, offered a more measured take. Acknowledging that Pi is still far from decentralized and that progress has been slow, they urged users to remain vigilant rather than cynical. Their message suggested that while frustrations are justified, it may still be too early to pass a final judgment. This sentiment reflects a broader divide among community members, a tug-of-war between belief in the project's potential and concern over its current trajectory. Pi Network launched with a bold vision, to democratize access to cryptocurrency by enabling mobile users to mine coins without the need for expensive hardware or technical expertise. Co-founder Nicholas Koukoulis often emphasized user-friendly innovation and community-first values. The ambition was to create not just another cryptocurrency, but a system where governance would eventually be handed over to the people through a decentralized autonomous organization, DAO. In this ideal scenario, decisions would no longer be dictated by a small core team, but rather shaped by a broader base of users and stakeholders. Yet the present state of the network reveals a very different picture. As it stands, the Open Mainnet phase, once anticipated as a turning point toward decentralization, is still restricted by invitation. This has fueled suspicions about how open and transparent the network truly is. Despite its mobile mining and growing user engagement, the heart of the system, the nodes, validation mechanisms, and governance rules, remains tightly controlled by the Pi core team. There's a noticeable gap between the original promises of decentralization and the actual implementation so far. This contrast becomes even starker when Pi is compared to Bitcoin, the original decentralized digital currency. Bitcoin's structure is based on transparency, open-source development, and distributed validation. Anyone with the technical knowledge can run a Bitcoin node, participate in mining, or verify transactions. Bitcoin doesn't rely on a single team to dictate its future, and it has a proven track record of resistance to centralized control. Some market analysts, such as Axel Adler, have highlighted Bitcoin's consistent bullish performance in July over the years. Historically, it has shown positive returns in 10 out of the past 14 years during this month alone. Currently commanding a dominant 62.4% market share with a total capitalization of $3.75 trillion, Bitcoin sets the standard for what a decentralized asset can achieve. Pi, by comparison, is still finding its place in the ecosystem. With a current estimated market cap of $3.61 billion and price movement hovering around 47 cents, it has demonstrated a 25% increase in trading volume. However, these positive signs in trading activity are often overshadowed by the lingering uncertainty surrounding its governance and internal decision-making. A core issue that continues to draw criticism is the centralized validation of transactions within the Pi network. Many users argue that this approach fundamentally undermines the project's claim of being a decentralized blockchain. Without the ability for regular users to independently validate or verify network activities, the entire process is vulnerable to manipulation, intentional or not. The absence of a functioning DAO or a robust system for community feedback only deepens these concerns. Communication, or rather the lack thereof, has further fueled dissatisfaction. Users often voice frustration over the limited transparency from the Pi core team. Key updates are sporadic, and meaningful community engagement remains minimal. While some events, such as symbolic 3.14 PI transfers or notable whale withdrawals, draw momentary attention, they do little to address the bigger question: who is actually steering the direction of the network? For many early adopters and believers in the project, this silence speaks volumes. The dream of a decentralized economy, governed by and for its users, seems increasingly distant. That said, the Pi community isn't entirely unified in its skepticism. A sizable portion still believes that decentralization is a process rather than a fixed destination, and that the Pi core team may yet open up control once foundational elements are solidified. At this point, it's clear that Pi Network stands at a crossroads. Whether it leans into its original ideals and empowers its users through open governance, or doubles down on a more controlled, closed model will likely determine its long-term credibility. As of now, there have been no new announcements of public forums, community proposals, or tangible movement toward decentralizing decision-making power. The silence, for some, is deafening. Still, the project has not collapsed, and its growing user base suggests that many are willing to wait. In the fast-evolving crypto space, trust is as valuable as technology. Pi Network has made a name for itself, but whether it becomes a pillar of the decentralized future or a cautionary tale of missed potential remains to be seen. Until then, the question lingers in every Pi user's mind: is this truly a movement toward decentralization, or just another centralized product wrapped in crypto ideals?